Welcome to the video. Glad to have you here. This is my first Indy race that I've gone to, and I wanted to record the experience and share it here on YouTube. If you are interested in just the race, check the timestamps below to skip to the race day if that's all you're here for. We just crossed over into Arkansas. We're coming all the way from Houston, Texas to go to the Music City Grand Prix, which is in Nashville, Tennessee for the Indy Series. It's my first time going to an actual in-person race. I got into the Indy Series maybe 6-ish months ago. So to go one in person is super exciting. Hopefully it's a great event. The weather is supposed to be rainy, so that might kind of mess some things up, or at least kind of change the schedule around a bit. But anyways, first stop is to go to Little Rock and check out a few spots, and then tonight we'll get to Nashville, and then Saturday tomorrow qualifying, and then Sunday race day. So sit back, relax, and come enjoy the experience with us. We stopped by Hot Springs to check out the bathhouse. It was a very short stay. We walked up and down the little town, looked at what they had, and we were probably there for like an hour and a half, and then we left. All right, and that's gonna conclude this little bathhouse trip. Very cute, very nice. I do recommend if you guys are here, just to stop by and check it out. You could probably be in and out, depending on how busy it is, like in an hour. We didn't eat here or anything. We're gonna go to the mountain tower, I think it's called, that overlooks everything. So hopefully that's like super easy to get to and it's not busy. That way we can get in and out. So we're eating some grapes, hydrating, and then we're gonna drive off to the next location. And that completes that little mountain tower, as it's called. It's really cool. You go up pretty high. Again, we're coming here on a Friday at 1:30. It's really hot, but that also means nothing is packed because people are still at work, school, whatever it might be. So it's like super empty here, which makes the whole doing any event that much quicker and that much easier for us. But it was cool. I definitely recommend it. I think it was like $12, $13 per person to actually go up there. But once you're there for like, we walked around like the whole circle thing, took photos, videos in like maybe 15 minutes, and then we came back down. We made a sandwich right now, but we already finished it because we were quite hungry. Now we're gonna walk down, and I think there's just a lot of it's a park basically, but the drive up here was pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, so far on our Friday evening, pretty nice, but hot. We stopped by a Marriott because there was Starbucks inside, and it turned out to be a great rest spot. The whole day was just hot. We were moving pretty fast to get through the day and drive. So once we got there, the AC was great, the drink was great, the barista was very nice, so shout out to her. So it was just a great time to just like slow it down and chill and just kind of recollect ourselves before kind of getting on the road again. So after that, we went to Junction Bridge, which it's literally just a bridge, like there's nothing else to it. Well, there actually is. There's a little, what it's called there, like a Navy museum, but the museum is like literally that right there. But I'm a big World War II, I don't say fan, that's not really a thing, but I love anything World War II related. So there was some history about whatever it's called over there. So anything World War II related, I will learn and read and be in awe every single time. And this bridge here is completely empty as well, so that's really cool. It rained earlier, so that dropped the temperature down by a lot. I think when we were out there it was like 105, but now it's like super chill. It's nice cool breeze coming in, so it feels like fantastic. So after this, it's Target, then to Nashville for sure. So now it's the next day, Saturday, and I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but the weather had other plans. So a little bit of a dilemma now is it is Saturday, we're gonna go to qualifying, but it is now pouring rain and it's only supposed to get worse, and it's gonna get worse tomorrow on race day. So last time we came to Nashville, it was very straightforward, like great weather, very dry, very easy to work with. And now we have to like put up with the weather, so this is gonna like kind of throw off the plans. I want to bring the bigger camera, but now since it's gonna rain all day, the poncho, umbrella, rain, using the GoPro the entire time is going to be way easier than trying to carry a camera and keeping it dry and not getting it, you know, wet and everything. So just picked up some Chick-fil-A and we'll see. So as you can tell, it is very wet. The whole weekend was set for some heavy rain. That Saturday there was some potential flash flooding, and Sunday was it was gonna be even worse. So already, you know, everyone's thinking like, oh, are they gonna cancel? Are they gonna postpone? Like, what's gonna happen? Because like, the weather is not looking good. Now, I will say two things. That one, by it raining and having this temperature, it really decreased how hot it was, obviously, right? So that did help. And then two, it was interesting seeing the race happen, or at least a practice session in the rain and the other cars driving. It did give it a better experience. We kind of got tired of the rain and we were like, okay, like rain, go away now. But it definitely added to the experience, seeing the cars drive in rain and seeing the spray or the water, you know, come up from when they're driving. So in that regard, it was a cool experience. But obviously, like, the stands were wet, the concrete was wet, the grass was all muddy and dirt. So in that regard, like, it got pretty tiring pretty quickly. But I will say, like, I'm glad I did experience some level of driving in the rain. Now, one thing I noticed is that everything is just happening in front of you. We didn't get like the paddock pass. We had grandstand seats, but like you almost get to see everything. Like, and especially depending on what seats you get, like you can see the pit lane, but like you'll see them tow the cars out. Drivers will just walk by. Like after the qualifying session, like Pato Ward just walked by, and I was like, what the heck? That's him. Even on the next day, on Sunday, when they announced the drivers before the race, like they just walk by you and go to wherever they need to go. So it feels very, you could say more like an immersive experience, because like everything is just there. Like there's no barriers between you and the drivers before the race. Like the cars are there, you see them being towed, you're right in front of it. You see the other race events, the cars driving by you, like not race day, but like when they're going back to wherever they need to go. Again, the driver just walking by you. So it's a very cool feeling where like you really feel like you're right there with them. Now, a big drawback that I saw with the organization, with the event, is the lack of communication. The qualifying was set to be at 1:30 or 1:45, and they kind of gave us a notice like, hey, we're going to postpone it, we're going to push the time back. But it took them a very long time to notify the people that were there that if the qualifying was 1:45, it got pushed all the way back to 5:15. And I mean, I kept on checking Twitter, Instagram. You saw other comments on their Twitter posts of like, hey, like what's up with the qualifying session. So one thing with this, like I wish they would have been a lot more proactive with the communication. Even if you don't have an answer yet of if you're gonna postpone it or not, let us know that you don't have an answer yet, because we're literally sitting there waiting for something to happen, and it's like 2:20, 2:10, and then they announce like, hey, qualifying has been pushed back to 5:15. And I get it, like whether it's like very, you know, like last second thing, but if not having an answer is still an answer that you can share with us. Like, hey guys, we're still trying to figure things out. Give us 30 more minutes to see when we can do it. So that was like, they really lack on the communication part. So the schedule got changed a little bit. I believe the qualifying session for the SRO event was at 3:40. So we actually went to go eat and grab a bite somewhere. We went to go change our shoes and socks because they were, as you can imagine, completely soaked. So when we returned to the event at around 4:30, qualifying was like at 5:15, it was dry. I mean, they were still pushing the water off the track, but it was way more dry than earlier in the day. But then, you know, we were happy that the sun was coming out. But then the sun got blistering hot. Like then it got like, the sun was too much. So that's why I said like it kind of helped that it rained, because it feels like that the whole day, it would have been a very, very tough day. And that's what us bringing like, you know, hats and sunglasses and a long sleeve and like things that we need and an umbrella, like it just, the heat was unbearing. The qualifying happened, it was great. There still wasn't that many people, which I'm not surprised, like it's not F1, right? So like on qualifying sessions, you're not gonna have that many people there. But another great thing is that there was, I think, 4 different events. There was obviously the Indy NXT, there was the SRO, GT America, the Super Trucks, and then the AE86 class. I forget the exact names of them, but if you want to watch racing, like that was a great event to just be there all day and just to watch races. The great thing is that like there was a lot of areas that you can walk to, like grants, general admission, or just places areas you can walk to watch the race. So in that regard, like if you just want to see racing or you want to see a particular class, or like it was all there. So in that regard, like it was a really great event put on. After qualifying, there was a Flow Rider concert. I haven't listened to that dude in like years, but it was there. So we were at the concert, had a good time. Like he put on a good show. We knew the songs because, you know, years ago that's when he was really, you know, at his peak. So we listened to some songs. So it was a great experience. Like the concert was good. The qualifying session was good. We watched a bit of racing of other events. They were great. So overall, for qualifying on Saturday, considering the weather, considering the lack of communication, I think it was a fantastic day. You get your money's worth with Indy, at least at this event. One thing I'm really interested in seeing is going to other Indy events and seeing how it matches up to the Nashville, to the Music City, because I think it was a fantastic Saturday event. So next day, Sunday, is the actual race day, and it's at 11:30, and I was very happy that it was in the morning session just to kind of get it out the way. So we get there like at 10:30 or 10:15, and Honky Tonk is being Honky Tonk. They're already playing music. People are already there, like having a good time. Even yesterday when we got there, like at 11 a.m., 10 a.m., when it was raining, there was still Honky Tonk going. There was music playing. There was party buses going by. So that town just keeps on going no matter what kind of weather, what's happening. So we get there, and the first thing that you notice is that there's a lot more people. Here is when they're announcing the drivers for the race. And again, the cool thing is that like they're just there. Like it's not like they're sectioned off. It's not like they have security right next to them. It's not like, you know, there's people pushing you around to get to them. Like they're literally just walking by you. And some of the drivers were taking photos. Some weren't because they just wanted to get to their vehicle. But it's like you're just there. Like you're just watching them. It's like, wow, you're just walking by as if you're like not a professional Indy race car driver, you know? I just think that's really cool. So we go to our seats now, and as you can tell, again, there's a lot more people here. I don't know the exact count, but I think I read somewhere where the average attendance for an Indy race is like 200,000. I did not fact check that, so that could be way off. But that's one thing you can really tell, like, okay, there's actually people here. So we were in Grandstands 10. It's the only chicane that they have there. And I thought it was good seats. One thing that I battled with is seeing like what turn do you want to be at. I didn't want just a straightaway because you just see them cross by. And the good thing about the grandstand that we got is that we are in the grandstands watching them turn on the chicane, right? But if we want to see a straightaway or maybe even a turn, we could just walk to the general area and you can see the straightaways. Overall, I think the event was fantastic. The race was fantastic. maybe I'll make another video on this, but one thing I really appreciate of Indy Race is that it's a spec series, so a lot of the cars are always racing against each other. So the actual level of racing, the competitive racing is there. Unlike F1 where obviously like the cars are much faster, the tracks are bigger, but you don't really see competitive racing as you do in Indy, which is why I like Indy so much, because you're actually racing against people almost the entire time. So on the last 5 laps, we got up to go to where the podium is at. Now one thing that was, I don't know if they do this at everyone, but the amount of hats they went through for promotional photos was like, at some point everyone was just like making fun of it, because I kid you not, they probably went to like 12 hats. Where, you know, they had their team hat, the Grand Prix hat, their sponsor hat, their sponsor hat, their sponsor hat. And a lot of times it was kind of awkward because they had someone present the trophy to every driver. But you could tell like there was just this level of awkwardness of like the guy didn't know how to hold it or where to hold, or when they brought up the check, it was very awkward to see them kind of shove people to like present them the award or present the trophy. So that was a little awkward. The changing of the hats took a very long time, and again, like it was very hot at this point. Like it's a hot day right now, and they're just going through, which I get it, but it was just like, all right, that took quite a bit of time. So that one I probably wouldn't stay to see another like podium victory circle, whatever they call it, just because like it just wasn't really worth it if it's gonna be like that every single time. And then after that, we basically just left because it was a very hot day. There was plenty of other races happening, but just given how hot it was, and it was still barely like 1:30, 2 o'clock, like it's still, the sun hasn't even completely peaked, and it was super, super hot. So we decided to go back to the apartment and just not watch the races. Plus again, like we watched a lot of that racing yesterday, so we got our money's worth. But again, like if you just want to be there all weekend and watch racing and just watch cars and sit down or move around and watch cars, like this was the event for you. I don't know if the same time of like when F1 has like maybe F2 racing or F3 or something to that, like other events happening. I don't know if they do that at every event. So I'm really curious to go to another event and see if it's held to this same level, because I think overall like the event was fantastic. There was a lot of racing, there was a lot of interaction. It was just overall, I think it was absolutely great event. They're changing the street course next year, and they're moving it to the last race of the season. And it kind of reminded me of the Miami track for F1, where it's just a lot of straightaways. I'm not a fan of it as of now, but we'll have to see how it plays out next year. But if you're thinking about it, I mean, I enjoyed it personally. I give it a 10/10 experience. The price of the tickets is far cheaper than an F1 race. I mean, we got grandstand tickets for 3 days for almost the price of like two general admission tickets, or one general admission ticket for the Austin F1 race. So it's a lot more affordable than an F1 race. And if you're into racing, like it was a great experience. 10/10. Highly recommend you check it out in person. But that's gonna wrap up this video. If you have any specific questions of the events, because you're gonna go to an event in the future, leave it down in the comment section or ask any questions, and I'd be more than happy to try to help you out on whatever I learned and share it with you guys. And let me know like what other Indy style videos would you want to see, because like I really do enjoy the sport. A lot more accessible and local than like F1 or the endurance series. So it's something that I really want to keep on going and really attend more events in person. So thank you very much. I'll talk to you guys on the next one.